Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Majin Buu Saga challenge for the Fighting Legend Frieza event. Now, the Majin Buu Saga challenge, honestly speaking, pretty straightforward. I think for the most part, what people will find with the Majin Buu Saga challenge is that it was probably a lot harder before we had the big celebrations. So it was probably a lot harder before we had the big, kind of celebrations, before we had those big, buffs that we just received from Golden Week. I think it was a lot tougher. Now it's not so tough. So definitely, I think those helped, and I think it's very important. Basically, that we accept that. So ultimately at the end of the day, very, very good stuff. Now obviously with that being said, the changes have essentially made the team incredibly good. So there's so many different various options that you can use, from new general battle units to easy aid units, that it really does make the challenge seem almost redundant. And I think that is just the case here. But ultimately at the end of the day, for me particularly, listen, I think this team build's good, but I think there are a lot of different variable team builds that you can use. There were so many different units that came out and honestly gave such a really, really good performance after this Golden Week, that I think you're not going to be out of situation if you just so happen to use any other options. I mean, you've still got AGL, LR, Gohan that you could use. You still have the Tech Evil Buu that you could use. You could go full Majin team if you want to. You could go full Super Majin Buu team if you want to. There's Goten and Trunks still to use. There's a lot of great options. So for me personally speaking, I think ultimately at the end of the day, there is a very, very good team here. And I think, there is kind of this understanding that the team looks pretty good. So my team, what are we looking at? Well, I went for a bit of a hybrid team. It's just probably the strongest variant of the team that I like running personally. So I just kind of went with this one. Just because, I thought it ran really well, and it was really just a fun, kind of easily accessible team to kind of utilize. So basically we're going with a double strength Vegito lead. Obviously just a very cool unit, a very helpful unit. Overall very, very solid, and I think for me, a great unit. Stacking as well is obviously always super duper helpful. We don't end up using the transformation, but it's there if we need it. Just in general, honestly speaking, just a really, really, really good time. Just a really, really, really good time. So and I think besides that, all really, really good stuff. So then of course on top of all of that, we have the physical Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Really, really, really strong unit. And I think for me personally, a absolutely fantastic performer. When I look at their performance, they do great here. Obviously everything kind of suits them a lot. So, if you look at them in general as units, there's a lot that comes to the fore that they really, really excel at. The stacking being one, the damage they do, the multiple supers is really good. They have type advantage for the final phase. It's all really solid. Then we have the Buu lineup or Buu rotation. Obviously, speaking plainly, the Buu rotation, just a good pair of units. You got Tech Buu, Physical Buu, just great together. Obviously, Physical Buu activating and triggering. Or Physical Buuhan, I should say, activating and triggering overall power buff, that damage reduction buff that the Tech Buu needs. So that's really, really helpful. And then you also have, of course, the kind of fundamental performance. So you have like the really overarching, like good strength of physical Buuhan, just a unit that again stacks and gets stronger constantly, which is always something that's super duper helpful. So yeah, all in all, really good stuff for me overall. And yeah, I think just a really strong foundation, really good performance. So beyond that, honestly, really not too much at this point. So then you kind of start rounding out the team. So we have like physical Kid Buu, a unit that, realistically speaking, really, really solid, great floater, great just support, really kind of encompassing the rest of the team, making the team really just function quite well, do a good job, and just, have a great presence overall, which I think is fantastic and helps out a ton. So I think, that is very, very important. And I think, ultimately for me, a really, really, really good unit. Really, really functional. Helps out the team, does good. Beyond that, not much. So Gotenks, into Gotenks, obviously transforming, obviously just a great unit. And I think, ultimately at the end of the day, a really, really, really strong performer overall, which I think is a good thing, at least for me. So I had a pretty strong time with this team. Obviously, in Gotenks, you have the SS3 transformation. I think it does help out a ton. I think obviously it's really, really strong and powerful. But there is also the caveat that it takes a while to get there. We're not really prioritizing him. You could very easily though, especially with the tech SS3, Gotenks, EZA coming around the corner. There is actually a ton that you could do to prioritize him as well. So definitely do suggest taking a look into all these things. I think you'll find that you're going to end up having a better time overall, depending on which side of the coin you favor. It's really not it's not impossible, so to say, when it comes down to these type of things. So realistically speaking, for me, all good, and I think ultimately really good stuff. So overall, I have to say, really honestly happy with this general team build. I think there are ways we could obviously improve everything, but I think ultimately it was really, really good and really functional and just did a great job. And I think it got everything done just as was required and just as we needed without too much fuss overall. So that's basically, for me, pretty much as straightforward. And I think ultimately that's everything we need to know. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, take care, stay safe, and as always, thank you for watching. Bye.